So who are the good guys and who are the bad? Well, we have a problem with this. It's decided by the bad. And with all the mediums of information telling all at their disposal, they can make this pretty ironclad. All types of nefarious interests are easily reframed, and conversely, any victim can become the shamed. Hero or villain? Only a matter of how they name. Philanthropists they just have to add, before certain names, to whitewash with a prefix those dirty ones and their games. And their foundations they all seem to have? Non-profit charitable trusts? Well, among other things, they're simply tax-dodging fronts for money laundering schemes. But nothing to see here, just the usual media spin. Dodgy lobbyist deals reframed and concocted for always and forever for the monopolists win. Anti-Semite? Half the time, not even semi-truths. Just 2 words uttered and for some very particular gains. Palestine gets passed by. People are too scared to criticize or don't want to appear racist in others' eyes. Certain politicians get cast aside, tarnished by the term and its piggyback lies. Attach it to those speaking truths as a way to have them ignored and marginalized. Same old media opinion spin. The tactic's simple, yet always a win. A tick for Israeli imperialism. On both sides of the water, enhanced and tipped political wins, while authenticity of his truth speaker now done in. Another little reminder that he who bullies the narrative wins. It only takes semantics, the ability to define meaning, or more specifically even, how to set the people's connotation on reading. They've even made wordy attempts to make weaponry romantic and their penchant for pedophilia like it's some normal masculine antic. So please, be under no illusion, because it's really of no matter to them when we, the majority, suffer or lose. Indeed, one man's loss is another man's gain, and a global loss becomes a global gain. And the stakes just got higher, that fucking higher, in this, their rigged monopoly game. But there is a rising tide, and it's the light of truth's flame. And these warriors who carry it, they come in sovereignty untamed. But they must be misnamed by full use of cabal media, reframed, and most importantly, defamed. So yeah, these days one's got to be brave to stand firm in the hate of holding the dissenting view, of seeing through their bullshit and their ballyhoo. Putting up with the labels thrown by those standing in queue, the ones that they have both constructed and construed, that via use of their media have pushed subtly onto you. Repeated and pushed through until one's under the belief that it's our own point of view. Yet these labels and terms have not come out of the blue. They've been deliberately cued. Elite media pushed on through and sadly publicly now imbued. Just as they wanted, given follow through. There to create division among us and much ado, to have rebellion against their takeover subdued, to extinguish the critical review. No, there's zero agenda to look into. And so they formulate their one world view, hidden among all the hullabaloo. You're a danger, you're a granny killer. But if you want to suppress them quickly while putting others off joining too, then use another covert big media spin. Lump them all together as kin with gun-toting patriots. All right, ain't that right? You're all Trump lovers. We can even upgrade that a notch, top notch, into domestic terror. And my personal new favorite is the free-thinking super spreader. Labels given, moreover supplied, all in strong endeavor to keep firmly in line all those who find the error in their inflated stats and their souped up facts. So please, give over with these labels. This thinking and association has been constructed for you, not just there for derision, but also to create division. So no, for the record, I'm no Q, I'm not fascist, ain't no lover of Trump, and don't bring me to the party of those ridiculed as woke. They've merely bastardized the term, used textual smoke, in an attempt to try and turn folklore onto them into a joke. But personally, the term awake is one I make preference to avoid. I prefer to speak of awareness and with it too. Awake, woke, sheep, asleep, they speak of polarization, and that's not the formation that we ought to be affirming. Let's avoid to be devasing. It's togetherness and oneness that our language ought to be embracing. So wherever we sit, let's not fall into their trap of giving others such forceful bad rap. Judge the behavior if one must. And yes, sometimes we must. But to use a label, well, it's kind of crass. But I'll stand firm in my view, however much I'm labelled and however much I'm poked, while the majority huddle together discussing the emperor's new cloak, not seeing that under the guise of it that they are playing us for broke. It's such an obvious ploy to swindle, to gazump, attempts to put all critical thinkers into one unattractive lump, group them all together as one, throw them all away as one. You wouldn't want to be one. So when one falls for this decoy, believe me, it's not the receiver that's insulted, it's the label thrower who's showing oneself chumped. Control of the narrative is a three-pronged attack. Demonise, criminalise, and most importantly, we'll turn to mutifying more fully next in chapter 5. But one really by now ought to know the score, that little bit better rather than to do their damn silencing for them letter by given letter, doing for them their bidding, telling others what's forbidden, all this bitching about masks taking others to task, when the ones who first demanded of this unmask went off camera, unmask. It's a farce. So quit with the bitching and the virtue broadcast. It's helping no one, only them in the long run. It's our freedoms undone and liberties taken from everyone. How about just minding one's own state of play? Instead of curtain twitching, everyone bitching, and yes, worst of all, snitching. So let me ask this. Who'll be lining the streets to clap on the lynching? I'm serious. One day it's pots and pans and the next. If one has walked with them this far, then I've got the right to ask the question, for how many miles more? We're snoozing too long. Because this is sinister, it's ugly, it's robotic besides, it's artificial in its theatre and it's all a fucking disguise. It's conjuring, it's trickery, and it's just lies, lies, lies. And what do we do with the truth among all of these lies? Well, we turn into this chapter 5, tech censorship. As I'm recording this, we've got this narrative going on in the great vaccine drive. And some of us have seen where this is going 12 months back. And we know that this is going to be the great divide between the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated. And we know who are going to be considered the unclean. Those who have chosen to keep their immune system intact, to not experiment with this unknown vaccine that from day one of Corona has been promoted on us as if it's the only choice we have. That our return to the theatres and the football stadiums cannot happen, will not happen. You have no choice. You, those were the words, you, not even we, you have no choice. Well, there's always a choice. And I guess it's not even me choosing to not take this vaccine and my life of freedom and travel being gone, because that is the choice that I will make. What really upsets me and what I see coming is how you guys, some of you listening here, are going to be treating those of us who've made this decision by buying into the media narrative around it, because we can see it happening already. And I beg of you and I please of you, please, start seeing through what doesn't make sense, because truth does not perform like this. Truth speaks clearly. Truth is not confusing. Truth is not contradictory. And this whole narrative is contradictory. So just please, it's always simple. The answers are always simple. So keep this simple. Thank you.